Today, we're venturing into a territory of intrigue, the hidden signs a younger woman is sexually attracted to an older man. This topic is a minefield, full of subtle cues and nuances often missed. We'll navigate these discreet signals together, understanding what they might mean and how to respond to them. Stick around until the end for a special tip that'll open your eyes. Let's figure out these mysterious signs together, shall we? Let's jump right in. 1. Subtle physical touch. Subtle physical touches can be a pretty big sign of sexual interest. Imagine you're chatting with a younger woman. You might notice little touches that don't seem like a big deal, but could actually be significant. Maybe when she's laughing, she lightly touches your arm, or when you're both looking at something, her hand brushes against yours. These small moments, they could be her way of showing interest without shouting it from the rooftops. It's like when someone taps you to get your attention, but softer, lingering. It's not just a, hey, look at this touch. It's more like a, hey, I'm here and I'm interested in you kind of touch. But remember, the context is super important. If you're in a crowded place and she touches your arm to avoid losing you in the crowd, that's just practical. But if you're sitting together with plenty of space and she finds reasons to make contact, that's a different story. Now, it's key to understand the difference between friendly and flirtatious touch. Friendly is more like a pat on the back, while flirtatious is more about lingering touches in more personal areas like the arms, hands, or lower back. It's subtle, but noticeable once you start paying attention. But here's the thing, and it's really important. Never assume that just because she touches your arm, she's ready for more physical contact. It's all about mutual comfort and respect. 2. Suggestive conversations. If you're in the middle of a conversation with a younger woman and you start noticing the topics are getting a bit more, let's say, risque. Maybe she's steering the chat towards romantic movies, or she's asking about your past relationships. She could be testing the waters to see how you react to these more intimate subjects. Now, it's not just about what she's talking about, but how she's talking about it. If she's sharing her own experiences or opinions on these topics, especially in a way that feels a bit flirty, that's a hint. But here's where it gets tricky. You gotta be sure you're reading the room right. Some people are just open and talk freely about anything and everything. It doesn't necessarily mean they're into you sexually. So, watch out for how she's discussing these things. Is she making eye contact, maybe smiling in a certain way? Or does her tone change when talking about these more suggestive topics? These little clues can give you a better idea of where she's coming from. 3. Behavioral changes in private settings. It's important to see how a younger woman's actions might shift when it's just the two of you, away from the public eye. So picture this. You're with her in a group, and she's pretty chill, maybe a bit reserved. But when you find yourselves alone, it's like she switches gears. She might get more relaxed, talk more freely, or even sit closer to you than before. There could be a different vibe entirely when it's just you and her. This behavioral change can be really telling. In a group, people often put up a social shield. It's like wearing your best behavior like a suit. But in private, that shield can come off. If she seems more open, more playful, or more engaged when it's just the two of you, that could be her way of showing she's comfortable and even interested in you in a more than friends way. Now let's discuss proximity. How close does she get to you? In a private setting, if she sits close enough that your arms or knees are almost touching, that's not random. She's breaking into your personal space bubble in a good way. It's a hidden sign she wants to be closer to you. If you're finding these tips helpful so far, please give the video a thumbs up. And I'm curious, have you noticed any of these subtle signs before? Drop your stories or thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear them. Now on to the next point. 4. Unspoken intimacy and shared activities. Sometimes the things you do together can take a turn towards something more intimate in a subtle way. Let's set the scene, shall we? You're hanging out with this younger woman, doing regular stuff, maybe grabbing coffee, going for walks, or just chilling. But then, you start noticing something. The activities you do together begin to feel different, kind of more special. It feels like you're not just passing time, you're creating moments. For instance, she might suggest going to a cozy, out-of-the-way cafe instead of the bustling coffee shop you usually visit. Or instead of a group movie night, she proposes a quiet movie evening, just the two of you. These aren't grand gestures, they're small changes, but they're significant. She's carving out a space for the two of you to be more personal, more connected. It's not just about what you do, but also how you do it. There could be more laughter, meaningful conversations, or those moments when you're lost in conversation and time flies. This kind of shared intimacy is a big sign. It shows she's comfortable with you in a more personal setting, more about the two of you. But remember, it's all about the vibe. If she's just being friendly and enjoying your company, that's great, but it might not mean anything more. You've got to feel out if these activities are taking on a different, more intimate tone. Just go with the flow, respect each other's feelings, and see where the journey takes you. 5. Dressing and grooming habits. Have you been hanging out with this younger woman and suddenly noticed something different about her appearance? Maybe she's wearing a style or color you mentioned you liked. Or perhaps she's putting more effort into her makeup or hair when she knows she'll be seeing you. These aren't big, flashy changes. They're subtle, but they could be significant. When someone's into you, they often want to look their best around you. She's not dressing up in fancy clothes or looking like a model. She's making little tweaks in her appearance that seem to say, "I want you to notice me." But you need to be careful. It's easy to misinterpret this stuff. Just because she shows up looking nice doesn't automatically mean she's trying to impress you. She could just be feeling good about herself, or she likes to dress up. The key is to look for changes that seem explicitly tailored to your interactions. For example, if she remembers you saying you like a particular style, and you start seeing her wearing that style more often around you, that's a hint. It shows she's paying attention to your preferences and saying, "I care about what you think." Remember, it's all about the context and how these changes tie in with other signs you're noticing. 6. Social media interactions. Nowadays, a lot of our interactions happen online. It's not surprising that how a younger woman interacts with you on social media can be a pretty big clue about her interest in you. You may notice she likes a lot of your posts, or she's always one of the first to comment on your pictures. She's making sure you know she's paying attention to what you're up to. But it's not just about likes and comments. She could be sending you direct messages, sharing memes, or tagging you in posts. She's finding ways to start conversations and keep that connection going, even when you're not face-to-face. And if she's sharing stuff that she knows you'll find interesting or funny, that's even more telling. It's almost like she's saying, "Hey, I saw this and thought of you." Another thing to watch is how she reacts to your interactions with her posts. If you comment on her photo and she replies quickly or starts a conversation, that shows she values your engagement. It's like a digital version of making eye contact and smiling in real life. But keep the context in mind. Suppose she's super active on social media and interacts with everyone like that. In that case, it could be her being her social self. What you're looking for are changes or patterns in how she interacts specifically with you. And remember, while social media can be a great tool for gauging interest, it's not the whole picture. It's just one piece of the puzzle. The real deal is how you connect in person. So, use these online interactions as hints, but don't rely solely on them to make assumptions. All right, here's that quick bonus tip: the importance of emotional intimacy and connection. This goes beyond just flirty chats or laughing together. It's about those deeper, more meaningful conversations. Maybe she's opening up about her hopes, fears, or dreams with you. She's not just sharing small talk, she's sharing a piece of her heart. This emotional bond can be a huge sign of attraction, especially if it feels different from how she talks with others. Remember, it's not just about having fun together. It's about connecting on a deeper level. That's where the real magic happens. As we conclude our insights into hidden attraction, why not explore more about dating cues? Up next, discover how to make her miss you badly, or learn how to make her think about you nonstop. Thanks for joining us. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more.